Hello everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in to CHSTV's official 2012 Golden Hall election show.
We'll be bringing you coverage of this year's election from Golden Hall in San Diego. We'll especially be covering the presidential race in the time leading up to the official announcement of the newly elected President of the United States.
That's right, and if you're asking me, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty close race. Anything can go at this point still, but what we're really going to be focusing on in this show is the presidential election, as well as the different things that are going on with the propositions, school board, pretty much everything that you can find here at Golden Hall.
And also another note is this show is produced almost entirely on location here in Golden Hall. And also with that, we've been doing live updates almost every hour, so it's really interesting to see how it's changing in Golden Hall here. It's been pretty stressful so far.
Oh, I think that says the least of it. With that being said, though, we've got to get this thing started, so I'm Brad Stryker.
And I'm Shawnee Bryan, and this is CHSTV's 2012 election show from Golden Hall. Welcome back. Now to start off our full-length election show, we're going to send it over to CHSTV reporter Elise Estevio. She's kind of going to tell us what she's going to be covering tonight as we start off our Golden Hall election show. Elise, take it away.
Good evening, Carlsbad. I'm Elise Estevio, here to give you your 2012 campaign coverage. On the right, we have Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan running for both presidential and vice presidential ticket. On the left, we have President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden, who are up for re-election. Later tonight, we're going to both Romney and Obama's campaign headquarters in California to give you the coverage of what we can expect for the next 4 years. Brad and Shawnee, back to you.
Specifically, right now, we're going to talk about Propositions 30 and 38. We'll have an update on the votes that have been coming in so far on those propositions when we come back from the story. But for right now, we're going to send it over to reporter Ali DeGore.
On both sides, they end up with
Proposition 30 proposes the idea to raise taxes on upper-class citizens. In results, $6 billion will be annually collected to benefit California education.
Prop 30 is essential for the future of education in the state of California.
I think Prop 30 is a good idea for our schools. It'll help us keep our school year just as long as it is now and give us some much-needed funds that we need for the school.
I ended up voting yes just because I wanted to make sure that I had a job and that things were good for kids here in California.
If Prop 30 passes, it's said that schools such as San Diego High School will benefit from the tax increase. However, many people oppose Proposition 30 for multiple reasons.
It's focusing on one group of people when it should be focusing on the expenses as opposed to the revenue side of the equation.
He's in the wrong place, having to then use the kids to get where they want. So I think that's the big problem I have. They have plenty of revenue. They just need to control where their priorities are, and it should be in the schools, and they can put something else on the leverage and not the kids.
Same money reallocated, redistributed appropriately.
Going against Proposition 30 is Proposition 38, which not only raises taxes for the upper class, but also the middle class. The money raised from Proposition 38 would not be directly distributed to education.
It's a very critical difference that people need to understand. Prop 38 is wonderful, but it only helps K-12 institutions. It does nothing to help community colleges or higher education.
Reporting for CHSTV from Golden Hall, I'm Ali DeGore.
All right, many thanks to reporter Ali DeGore for that story, and now I'm going to give you a brief update on both Propositions 30 and 38. As it stands, Proposition 30 is just about the only one that's still wavering back and forth, could go either way tonight. However, Proposition 38 has definitely been defeated, so that's a result that we can confirm. Now reporter Elise Estevio is standing by in a nearby hotel called the U.S. Grant. She met up with some Republican representatives to get that side of the presidential campaign. Elise?
Good evening, Carlsbad. I'm outside the U.S. Grant where the Republican Party is holding their political campaign spot. Right now it looks like Romney may lose this race. We're going to go inside, ask some hard questions, and see what's the future for Romney.
Well, we're not giving up hope. It's a long night ahead of us, and there's still a lot of votes to be counted, still a lot of provisional votes to be counted. Very close in some of those eastern United States. We've seen 2000 how a campaign can go well into the evening. So we're in for the long haul.
Thank you, Elise. And now we have a story on Propositions 34 and 36. Let's send it over to reporter Lauren Stryker for more information.
The presidential elections are filled with both politics and propositions that are voted on each year. This year, one of the most controversial props is 36, repealing the three strikes law. If Proposition 36 is passed, it will change whether or not a person is sentenced following the three strikes law. This authorizes prisoners to be retried for offenders currently serving life sentences if their third strike was not serious or violent.
I feel like if you commit a lesser crime that's like maybe shoplifting and then you're going to life in prison, I don't believe that's fair.
I want to keep the three strikes law on the books, but I don't want to have shoplifting and petty crimes be considered major offenses that will put away somebody for life.
The first two is violent crimes, and then the third you can go to prison even if it's not a violent crime for your entire life, which I am against because I feel like it should be 3 violent crimes which would send you to prison for life.
On the other hand, those who voted against Proposition 36 keep the prisoners sentenced to life.
Basically, there's too many people there, and if we're going to put someone back in for a minor offense, then that's more taxpayer dollars going down the drain.
Whether or not Proposition 36 is passed, some of the inmates who are currently sentenced to life will remain in prisons like the one behind me. Proposition 34 will determine whether or not the 725 inmates currently on death row will be sentenced to life sparing their own.
34, essentially what it is repealing the death penalty, and I don't think that we should do that. And I just like to be clear, I don't think that we should be killing a lot of people either, but I think that for particularly violent crimes, we should have that option in place.
Those who oppose Proposition 34 continue to sentence prisoners to death.
I think you have a chance to fulfill your responsibility as a citizen by being a good citizen, and they didn't multiple times.
On the death penalty, I don't think it's making anyone safer. It's just wasting millions of dollars.
Proposition 34 should not only appeal to those who can vote, but also to students because of the effect it has on them.
I think it's important for students to care because money is being spent on the death penalty that could be spent on keeping teachers, on smaller classrooms.
For CHSTV from Golden Hall, I'm Lauren Stryker.
Now we're going to send it over to Michael Ricci with an interview from a couple of representatives from Carlsbad High School. Mr. Astor is with some students from his very own government class, and they're here at Golden Hall tonight. They're going to be talking to you guys about what they were doing here, as well as the importance of students being involved in politics today.
Hey Carlsbad, I'm here with Cody and Christian and Mr. Astor, some AP government students and the AP government teachers. So what have you guys been doing to prepare for election night?
Well, for the last 3 weeks, we've been learning about all the different parties, third parties, electoral college, and how everything fits together, and it's fascinating to see how it all comes together here right now.
All right, so why is it important for students to be involved in politics?
Because it's a democracy. You got to participate. And it's not a sit around and just watch it thing, you get involved.
And do you feel participation has been at an all-time high?
I don't know if all time, but it's pretty good participation. We've got a lot of kids down here. Hopefully it'll inspire them to vote in the future and vote intelligently.
All right. How has Mr. Astor sort of inspired you to come down here to vote or to support?
I mean, he just taught us all about it, so, I mean, obviously we're going to come down and find what's up, and he's just taught us everything, so, I don't know.
All right, so make sure the future generation, make sure you guys come out and learn about politics and make sure you guys are aware about what's happening in the world around you. With that, I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you once again to the members of Mr. Astor's class who volunteered to come on our show tonight, as well as reporter Michael Ricci. Now transitioning to a more lighthearted piece, reporter Sam Staudenberger went out onto the floor of Golden Hall to try and find people who stood out from the crowd. Let's see what he came up with. Sam, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Now, right below me, there's quite a large crowd gathering here in Golden Hall. And with so many people, you're bound to get a lot that have a very passionate opinion. But how far will somebody really go to express their political stance? Let's go see. Excuse me, guys, can you explain your shirts to me?
This is Ronald Reagan, and we are calling for kind of a return to Reagan's policies in a Reagan America, basically.
Okay, now this looks like kind of like the Obama art. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, it kind of, looks like it, so it kind of draws people's attention.
It ended up that way. It was accidental. Okay, why are you here tonight?
Because we're studying about the Electoral College and the presidential election.
Your teacher made you come, didn't she?
No.
Parents?
No.
You just want to come here?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, can we get a display of what this is? It's your binder of women. Okay. Are these all your girlfriends? No. Now, is the face paint, I'm guessing that's supposed to say R for Romney?
Yeah.
You smeared a little bit.
You know, I'm all about America, and you know, I love expressing myself and filling in that little circle box. I just feel the power.
Well, I think it's safe to say that many people here aren't afraid to go above and beyond to express their political beliefs. Once again, I'm Sam Stadelberger, and Anchors, back to you.
Thank you to Sam. Now, with Obama's recent news of taking the state of Ohio in the electoral vote race, the Democrats have been pretty excited. We sent out reporter Elise Estevio to capture that excitement at a nearby hotel in downtown San Diego. Elise?
Hey Carlsbad, I'm here on top of the Westin Terrace, and as you can see behind me, the Democratic campaign is celebrating their win in Ohio. We're going to talk to some people and see if those are some positive strides made in the Obama campaign.
You know, at the end of the day, it's different than we were in 2008. In 2008, I think everyone was ready for a big change and sort of came in with a whole momentum. But now I think, you know, America has shown tonight that they're ready to continue to move forward with President Obama. Well, I think that when he came into office, he had so many challenges to tackle, and I think he had to make a decision to basically save our economy.
Thank you, Elise, once again. We look forward to hearing another update from you later on in the show. Moving topics to our final story of the night, reporter Carly Hornback set out to find more information about Proposition 33. Carly, what do you have for us?
Proposition 33 says that if you have a consecutive amount of years without auto insurance coverage, you will be rewarded a discounted rate, even if you were to switch insurance companies.
I'm against it because when I start driving, I want to have cheap insurance rates, and as a teenager, when you start driving, that's like your real first sense of freedom, and I want it to be cheap for me and my family.
Okay, as a student right now, yeah, it's bad. Yes, you have to pay more. However, further down the line, it's going to be great. Those years are going to fly by, and you're going to pay less and less and less, and you're going to feel great.
Well, I personally pay for my own insurance, or at least a large portion of it. So if this proposition were to pass, essentially what that would mean is that I would have to pay more insurance because I haven't been a driver for as long as they want it to be. They want, people who have driven for a very long time, and they get discounted insurance. However, the people who just signed on with their company don't get discounts.
Prop 17 was on the ballot 2 years ago. Although it did not pass, it was a very close call. 52% of people were against it, and 48% of people were for it. Today, people have voted on the revised version, Prop 33. If it is to pass, it'll have a very big impact on students and people who have not previously owned insurance. With that, I'm Carly Hornback. Let's send it back to you in the studio.
All right, and just a quick update on Proposition 33. It looks as if the state of California has defeated the proposition. Of the 3 people running for school board this year, we were curious as to whether or not they would close the Carlsbad High School campus for lunch.
I know students aren't going to like this because we've had an open campus. But because we do have as many students as we have, as many and still have some of the social issues that have to do with when students, and it's usually just a small few that really spoil it for everybody else, leaving the campus, spoiling our relationship with our neighbors. Students that are coming back have even used drugs and come back on campus. We have to take a hard line on this for the safety of all the students, the safety of our neighborhoods, and have a closed campus.
I totally support having 9th graders stay on campus. To have the students who are able to leave campus this year not be able to leave next year on campus during lunchtime, I would prefer not to do that.
My main concern is the safety of our students and the safety of our community. So if keeping them on campus at lunch and being able to serve all of them lunch makes them safer and makes the community safer, I'm in favor of that.
I believe that the students who repeatedly come back tardy after lunch, that they should lose the privilege of leaving campus on lunch.
Dr. Stites, the school principal, has talked about ways to perhaps reward students who are able to leave campus and have that be an enticement for good academics, good behavior, or some kind of extra credit.
Speaking of school board candidates, the polls are coming in right now, so we can give you guys an update on the school board and what it's going to look like in the Carlsbad Unified School District. As of right now, the incumbents Kelly Morris and Alyssa Williamson seem as though they will be re-elected. Transitioning to our last piece of the night from Elise Estevio, she's going to give us an update on the presidential election. Like I said, this is an update and it is not official yet. Elise, what do you have?
As Golden Hall seems to be coming to a close, that doesn't mean that the election is over. Because Barack Obama seems to be in the lead right now, but it is still anybody's game. So make sure to keep informed to see who will be your president for the next 4 years. For the last time at Golden Hall 2012, I'm Elise Estevio.
All right, thank you to Elise, and also a big thank you to everybody who's been down here at Golden Hall. Tonight's been one heck of a night.
That's for sure. And tomorrow morning, this taped show will be airing on our CHSTV broadcast. For one last time, I'm Shawnee Bryan.
And I'm Brad Stryker, and thank you very much for tuning in to CHSTV's official election show 2012. Bye.
We would like to thank Internology and Broadcast Design International for sponsoring this show.